for the Judiciary Committee, which I think is a shame. It's more than a shame. It's very disappointing.
Let's talk about your Senate hearing today. You came, as we all know, we were watching it with guns blazing. You started by telling the Attorney General that he's no different than Rudy Giuliani or Kellyanne Conway. Explain what you meant by that.
Because they're all in the service of this president. It's like entering what I would call the moral dead zone that is the White House. And people who otherwise had good reputations before entering this dead zone suddenly become sycophants and do the bidding of the president. So I said, you are no better than all these other people, because I emphasize that he is acting like the Attorney General, like the attorney for the president, not the Attorney General of our country. And that goes to how he dealt with the Mueller report, how he was, I would say he lied. When you deliberately mislead Congress, when he did not provide the answer to Chris Van Hollen, when Chris asked him, well, did Mueller have any concerns about the 4-page so-called summary? And he said no. Well, in fact, he knew that that Mueller did have concerns, so much so that he expressed these concerns in a letter to Barr, which is really not the kind of thing that you would expect a special counsel to do.
And in a dramatic moment, Senator, you told the Attorney General right to his face that he should resign. Clearly, that's not very likely. But do you think Democrats could reach a consensus on perhaps going forward with an effort to impeach Bill Barr?
I think that the House is going to have to go in that direction. I do think that the Mueller report is a lead-up to impeachment proceedings, but these are not normal times. In normal times, any president who did what he did, I think, would be subject to impeachment. This is not normal times. This is why the House committees have to undergo the kind of investigation into all of the Trump organization's, I would say, nefarious doings in terms of taxes, real estate, insurance fraud, etc., not to mention campaign spending violations, and develop a much greater, lots more ammunition to go forward with impeachment proceedings, because these are not normal times. And I note that Sally Yates, our former acting Attorney General, said, based on the kind of information that's in the Mueller report that leads to an obstruction of justice with anybody other than the president, she would have already indicted this person for obstruction. So, this is the kind of environment we are in. And, by the way, when I asked Attorney General Barr whether it was okay, since obviously he did not think that it was a crime, the 10 items that were listed in the Mueller report leading to an obstruction, that since he did not consider any of those a crime, I asked him, but is it okay? Is it okay for the president to ask his White House counsel to lie? Is it okay to fire the FBI director because he wanted to?
Senator, hold on for a moment, because that was a very dramatic moment. I want to play this exchange, that specific exchange that you had with the Attorney General. Listen to this.
Do you think it's okay for a president to ask his White House counsel to lie?
Well, I'm willing to talk about what's criminal.
No, we've already acknowledged that you think it was not a crime. I'm just asking whether you think it's okay. Even if it's not a crime, do you think it's okay for the president to ask his White House counsel to lie? If you're just going to go back to whether or not it's a crime, you're telling me that it's okay. Let me ask you the last question that I have in 17 seconds. Do you think it's okay for a president to offer pardons to people who don't testify against him, to threaten the family of someone who does? Is that okay?
When did he offer a pardon to someone?
I think you know what I'm talking about. Please.
What do you mean?
Please, Mr. Attorney General, give us some credit for knowing what the hell is going on around here with you.
Not really. To this line of questioning.
So
listen, you've slandered this man.
Yeah, what I sort of want to know is how do we get to this point?
I do not think that I'm slandering anyone.
All I can say,
Mr. Chairman, I am done. Thank you very much.
And you slandered this man from top to bottom.
That was your committee chairman, Lindsey Graham, going after you, saying what you were doing to the Attorney General was totally inappropriate. You slandered this man. He said, what's your reaction to that?
Truth is a defense and opinion is not slander. That's my response to that. Truth hurts. So I'm asking legitimate questions of this Attorney General. Apparently, with this administration, questions of right or wrong or morality has absolutely no place in the moral dead zone that is the White House. So we expect our Attorney General to represent the people of this country, not the President of the United States, but that's exactly what he's doing. And so he just continues to compound. He just obfuscates. And one of the most troubling responses, so-called, was when Kamala Harris asked him whether the White House has suggested that he investigate anybody. And he asked, what do you mean by suggest? We would expect an Attorney General who's an Attorney General for our country to say, hell no, that's not how we do things. We do not go after people, investigate people for political reasons. We already know that this president is fully capable of asking his Attorney General to go after political enemies like Hillary Clinton. That was a very troubling, I have to think about that response from the Attorney General. And believe me, Wolf, it gives me no pleasure at a public hearing to call upon the Attorney General to resign. But there you have it. These are not normal times.
Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
These are very dramatic times. And